Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy TNL. Today, I'm just going to kind of give you a little refresher, something positive to look at to make you feel like you're not so far behind because in all reality, you are doing way better than you think. Let me tell you something. You probably haven't heard it in a while, but you're doing way better than you think. And I know that sounds like something that people say just to be nice, just to kind of boost your ego, but I don't necessarily mean it like that. I mean it in a very quiet but growing, respectable way. The way that makes sense, only when you actually slow down and look at your honest life, your life honestly. Because right now, you're probably measuring yourself against a version of life that doesn't even exist right now. You scroll, you compare, you see people who look your age, and it looks like they've figured everything out. They're making money, they're very confident, they're posting their wins. And meanwhile, you're sitting there thinking, why don't I feel further along? Why do I still feel lost? Why does it feel like everyone else is moving faster than I am? But nobody really tells you that most people are just better at showing their progress than actually making it. They're showing the highlights of their life, the great and amazing moments that they experience. You have to really try to understand why you're underrating yourself. You're judging your life based on what you haven't achieved yet. And you're ignoring the habits you broke, you're ignoring the mindset you outgrew, you're ignoring the situations that you survived so far, the version of you that would have collapsed under the pressure that you handle with ease now. Growth doesn't always look like winning, okay? Sometimes it looks like not giving up when you used to, choosing peace over chaos, whether that's with people or with situations or with jobs, realizing that, realizing what you don't want anymore, that still counts as growth. You know, people will always feel behind, but feeling behind doesn't mean you are behind. It just usually means that you're becoming aware of the situation around you, and awareness is uncomfortable. Being aware of things is uncomfortable a lot of the time because once you see more, you genuinely expect more from yourself, which is just, it's a weird way of living, but it's how things are at times. But awareness is also the starting line. Once you become aware of things, you realize what you need to work on, what you need to like, where you need to go. You don't feel lost because you're failing. You feel lost because you're transitioning from things. And transitions can be messy, obviously. They can be very messy. So let me talk to you listening to this right now directly. If you're watching this and you're trying to do better financially, you're trying to get your life together, sorry. Trying to be more disciplined, trying to figure out who you really are deep down. That already puts you ahead of where you used to be because you're not stagnant anymore. You're trying to dissect the problem. You're aware. You're building, and building never looks impressive from the inside, right? So why doesn't it feel like progress? You could be thinking all these things, but why doesn't it feel like progress? Progress doesn't feel good in real time. It feels very, very slow, very, very boring, very uncertain, very lonely at times also, because real progress removes distractions. And when the noise is gone, the only thing that's left is you with yourself. And that's when most people quit. That's when most people get tired of it. It's when they get bored. But you didn't quit. You did not quit. You have to try to work on your quiet wins, the wins that, aren't as loud as the other ones that people may be posting on their stories constantly that you see on your timeline. You're doing better if you're more honest with yourself than last year. You're doing way better if you're questioning paths that no longer fit your narrative. You're doing way better if you're learning how to manage your emotions. Emotions are what can tear people down so easily. So if you can control that and manage them a lot better, then you're already doing so much better than a lot of people. You're doing way better if you're choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. And those aren't very flashy. Those aren't the most, sparkly, glistening things, right? But they're ones that will genuinely change your life over the long term. So I'll give you a reminder. Remember, you don't need to have it all figured out just yet. You don't need to be there yet. Whatever your picture of there is in your mind, you don't need to be there yet. You just need to keep going in the direction that feels honest and as important to you as possible. Because most people don't fail because they're simply incapable of doing something, but they fail because they stop way too early before it all could start compounding and growing. So, if today felt unproductive for you, if you didn't check every box off, if you're still unsure about your next step, that doesn't erase the progress that you've already done so far. It just means you're human, you're a person. So just take a deep breath. You're not late. You're not, you know, you're not damaged, and you're not wasting your life. You're genuinely doing way better than you think. And I just want you to genuinely remember that. Thank you for watching and listening. Um, I appreciate y'all. Let me know what kind of videos you'd like to see, going on in the future. I always love taking y'all's feedback and all that good stuff. But thank you.